Speaking of the best, let's bring in the best out there. Our guy Brian Baldinger is joining us right now. Baldy, how you doing, my friend?
I'm good. I'm good, guys. I've been checking out some OTAs. I was at the Dolphins yesterday, heading to the Bucks tomorrow. So I'm just kind of catching up with some football right here. But everything's good in my world.
Baldy, we need a Baldy sighting out in the Mile High City. When's Sean gonna bring you out here?
I don't know. Like I'm waiting. Sean wants to send me the ticket. I'm coming. I saw him at the Shador Sanders and Travis Hunter's pro day. So I thought the invitation would be out there by now.
I'll make sure to tell him tomorrow to get you out here. And Baldy, one of the conversations we had yesterday was who the Broncos starting running back is going to be week one. And there's a little bit of a disagreement between us here with Audric Estime, Jaleel, Blake Watson, and of course, RJ Harvey now in town. Who do you think the Broncos starting running back in week one is going to be?
I would say RJ Harvey is going to get a good chance to win the job, but I believe that Jaleel has won the trust of Sean Payton. It won't surprise me just because I think he knows he's a good receiver. He catches the screens, good, the checkdowns. My guess is it's going to be Jaleel. That'd be my early guess, but I think RJ Harvey will get a good look here.
I'm curious about Jaleel. It feels like he is a good receiver. You get him on the screens, you get him on the swing routes. He can change angles on defenders, get outside the linebackers, get big plays. We haven't seen the route running much, where you split him out in the slot or even out of the backfield, kind of run him upfield instead of just giving the ball behind the line of scrimmage. Do you think that now being in year 3 of Sean's offense, if they were to really focus in on that with him, is that something that could still kind of come along?
It can. It can. I mean, I think he had 24, 25 catches last year, but, he obviously did that with Kamara, and he loved it. He had hit him and Michael Thomas on the same side, the weak side. They ran a lot of two-man games, a ton of two-man games. And Drew Brees was just basically just reading coverage. It was pretty simple where the ball was going to go. But I have a feeling that if he was going to do it, he would have done it. But if he's going to do it, this would have been the offseason to implement it. And then, if he doesn't do that with Jaleel, it's not a knock. It's just that Kamara was just so special in what he did from the slot on the weak side. I mean, it was a ton of activity over there for him. So I don't know that Sean feels like RJ or Jaleel or Audric or any of these guys are Alvin Kamara at this point.
One of the things we were talking about today is the fact that Bo Nix is going into his second year in a system for the first time since he was in high school. He's had a new play caller every year since he was in high school. And, the analogy we used was like learning a new language every year. Is it that dramatic, or is there a better kind of analogy for what it's like to learn a new offense every single year?
I think part of this is COVID. Part of this is the transfer portal. All these things have happened in college football, so that guys are playing a lot more games than we're used to seeing. And so you get these different coordinators because you're moving from school to school. From Auburn to Oregon to Denver. I mean, that is happening more frequently. I think it's a good sign that these guys can adapt and learn new systems and adjust. The college game is a lot more simplistic, but it's a good thing that he doesn't have to digest a new system after digesting Sean's, because it's only going to expand his role in the run game, how he sees the run game, the better plays that he has in his headset that he gets to choose from right now. I think this is typically I say that most players, especially quarterbacks, the greatest growth they can make is between their first and their second year. I would say, at least from a mental standpoint, that's going to take place with Bo this year. Is it like learning a different language every year? To a degree it is, but it also shows you that he can adapt and learn. Shador Sanders is on his sixth coordinator, since he left high school. So, it does show that you can learn. I do think that the carryover this year, I think his what he can call from his call sheet will grow a lot this year. in what he gets to choose from, getting to the best play possible.
Baldy, you talked about how the biggest growth from a quarterback is from year 1 to year 2. Bo had a really good rookie season, the runner-up for the rookie of the year just behind Jaden Daniels. How shocked would you be if he is in that MVP conversation this season? Because the odds right now are 75-1, which to me just seems absolutely crazy. I'm not saying he's going to be in that MVP conversation, but I want to get your outside perspective. What is that just crazy talk to say that maybe he's included in that, or could you see that potentially happening?
No, I think it's kind of crazy talk at this point. Knowing
That's
that
fair.
Burrow in this league and Patrick Mahomes and Jaden Daniels. I mean, there's a lot of other guys that have been around here a long time. I mean, Josh Allen's the MVP. Lamar Jackson has been a 2-time MVP. I mean, there's just guys that are further along. I mean, I do think you have to kind of caution a little bit of it. I know the excitement is big. I mean, the schedule was pretty favorable last year. I think they beat one team with a winning record in Tampa Bay early in the year. So I would, and I'm not trying to throw cold water on the excitement in Denver right now, but I do think, look, I mean, in their own division, it's going to be tough. They lost to the Chargers twice. I know they beat Kansas City at the end of the year when Kansas City sat everybody. But, that would be, to me, there's certain games this year where you really want to see if he's at an MVP level. Like, put him up against the Chargers. They lost to the Chargers twice by a touchdown last year. They scored points. They gave up a lot of points. But the Chargers, to me, I know Kansas City, everybody's gunning for Kansas City. But if I'm Denver, like beating the Chargers and beating Harbaugh, to me, is a big deal. Like, they obviously resurrected and really rekindled the excitement with the Chargers, just like the Broncos did. But those are games. I think they played in the third week of the season too. Like, that'd be a game. I know they play Tennessee and India, I think, to start. But like that third game against the Chargers, if you want to have an MVP conversation, how's he playing that game against the Chargers? And do they win that game? And then you might be able to ratchet up that excitement about that conversation.
Yeah. I'm curious if you think they upgraded enough this offseason, specifically with the playmakers, because you look at last year, the defense was awesome. Offensive line was more than good enough, but it's just, are you explosive enough on offense to compete consistently, to put up big numbers, to scare teams? Obviously, you add Evan Ingram, you replace Javonte with RJ Harvey. If you had been running the Broncos, would you have done more than that, or do you think that that's enough to kind of take them over the top?
Maybe, this wasn't the greatest year for wide receivers in a draft. Mm-hmm. And so, if there was Matthew Golden hanging around there when the Broncos traded or picked, that might be a guy that you might have been interested in. It wasn't a great draft. I mean, you could say Ted McMillan, whatever, but it hasn't been as deep as it has been. So, you might have said, okay, let's go get ourselves a true number one. Now, I don't know what Pat Bryant's going to be. I think Evan Ingram is a true playmaker. He's a great receiving tight end. He's not a great blocker. They can handle that with other guys. But I feel like, Ingram, I think, is an upgrade in what you can do with him, especially if you go back and you look at that first year in Jacksonville when it looked like Jacksonville was going to run away with that division and then they collapsed. But like, he got off to a great start. He had 100 catches. Like, he's got real volume, number of catches in him. And then we'll see if RJ Harvey becomes, the leading back and an explosive leading back, the way we've seen some of these rookie backs, come into this league right now. That might be enough right now.
Broncos obviously have a lot invested in their offensive line and have some really good players on that line. But obviously they weren't able to get anything going in the run game last year. What do you think has to change for them to get some momentum in that area this year?
Well, I think the passing game can open things up. If you start respecting, especially the deep passing game where the safeties can't be as nosy as they might have been, that's going to help. And then I just think the second year of the system, they should be better. I mean, Zach does a good job of coaching. Morgan is there right now. Chris Morgan, like, he's been around this league. I think they're going to have a good system. I would say the second year in this system and how they run the ball and how they, when you're a rookie quarterback, if it was Drew Brees in his day, like he ran the running game, and he'd see a light box and switch to a run. Like I don't know that Bo was able to do that or could do that last year, but I think the second year in the system, the quarterback, if he sees two safeties playing cover 2, and it's 2nd and 10, I mean it might be a good play for Bo Nix to hand it off to RJ Harvey and go get 5 yards. And so I think some of that is on the quarterback. Some of it is the passing game that opens things up in the run game. And then the second year in the system, they should be better up front with the blocking assignments right now. So I think all those things can contribute to a better running game.
Baldy, final one for you. Of course, every team goes with their quarterback and takes steps as their quarterback takes steps. So putting Bo Nix aside, who is the Broncos XFactor this season?
I think RJ Harvey could be the X factor. I just think that we're seeing a renaissance in the NFL right now to running the football. You saw the Eagles last year. They ran it 725 times. You saw the Ravens. You saw Detroit. You saw Green Bay. They all ran it more than they threw it. I feel like that's a trend, and I've been tracking it now for 2 years. Like it's becoming more of a running game. And I think RJ Harvey, if he's the guy, if he truly is what they think, I think they think he is, like he could be the X factor right now for this offense and for this team. Because I think if you can run it, you can control the clock, you can control the tempo, you can control the explosiveness that Kansas City has played with when you're keeping Mahomes on the sideline. And so I feel like he could be the X factor this year because we don't know. We don't know till he gets out there. Sean certainly has had his a lot of great running backs throughout his career, and maybe this is going to be the guy that becomes the next guy in that line.
I love that. And Baldy, you're our guy. Thank you so much for jumping on with us today. Yeah. Enjoy June, and we will look forward to catching up with you next week.
You got it, Zach. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
Man, love talking to Baldy.